Abigail premiered last week in theaters, and it was directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette, and was distributed by Universal Studios. Now, this film was a reimagining of the 1930s film Dracula's Daughter, which is a sequel to the original 1931 Dracula film. Now, the story goes that a group of criminals kidnapped the daughter of a wealthy figure known as Christophe Lazar to hold her for ransom. But things take a drastic turn for the worse when they discover that the girl that they are holding hostage is actually a vampire. Now, before I give you guys my thoughts, I just want to let you know that there will be some mild spoilers ahead. So if you don't want any spoilers whatsoever, then be sure to go check out this film in theaters and then come back and check out this review. But let's get started. Now, I'm going to be honest, when I saw the trailer for this film a while back, I was already sold. I thought it looked great, and I was excited for it. And did it live up to my excitement? Yes. Yes, it did. I was pleasantly surprised with this film, more so than I originally expected. Now, I said recently in my reaction that while, yes, the story is more or less a simple concept, I thought the film itself was just an exciting roller coaster ride of madness. And being completely honest, I'm glad that it was a simple concept. It wasn't overcomplicated or convoluted. And with the exception of the first part of the film, while everything and everyone is getting established, the pacing was actually pretty well done. And right as soon as the young psychotic demon ballerina vampire girl goes crazy and starts killing people, there was hardly ever a dull moment. I thought the acting was really good. All of the actors did a very great job at keeping you invested in their characters. And while you recognize that, yeah, the main cast, this is a group of criminals, you don't condone their actions, they did a really good job at selling their roles. And I thought that each of the actors had great chemistry with one another, and their characters really complement each other. The title character, Abigail, was portrayed by Alicia Weir, and she was incredible. She really devoted to this role. While she was playing a young girl, she was also playing a 12-year-old girl who was also a centuries-old vampire. She was very intelligent, she was scheming and conniving, and not only that, she was frightening. Now, the cinematography for this film I thought was very well done, because I thought this film looked amazing. And the design for the setting was very effective. While yes, there were some rooms in this house that they were staying in looked more or less normal, there was also quite a bit of rooms in this house that were just very decrepit and freaky looking, and no matter how much money I was being paid, if I was one of these criminals, I would not enter there. But again, the design of all of these rooms was very effective because it gave you a sense of being trapped and a sense of danger, especially when all hell breaks loose. And speaking of which, when it comes to the violence and the gore, this movie was crazy. It was incredibly dark and brutal. We see decapitated bodies. We see the vampire using one of those decapitated bodies as her dance partner. We see bodies exploding. We see skin ripped off and lots of blood, blood, blood. Now, I'm not one that scares easily, but this film was very suspenseful and does a great job at keeping you guessing about what's happening or what's about to happen or what's about to happen to who or what. And if it kept me guessing, that's saying something. Now, the jump scares I thought were pretty decent, but there was actually one scene in particular where I was legitimately starting to freak out, and it wasn't because of a jump scare. No, Abigail just slowly enters the room from the shadows right behind somebody, and that in it itself just creeped me out. It was kind of similar to how Robert Pattinson's Batman first entered the scene at the beginning of his movie. He didn't dive through the window or glide into the scene. Nope, he just slowly walked on, and that said it all right there. Now, as I mentioned earlier, yes, this is a reimagining of Dracula's Daughter. So the big question is, and this is going to get into some mild spoilers, but the question is, with this film being a reimagining of Dracula's Daughter, is Dracula in it? All I'll say is there is an implication made. I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but that was honestly my least favorite part, is when that particular implication was made, because the film is advertised as a reimagining of Dracula's Daughter. Why was there any need for an implication anyway? It's just I mean, you're going into this film, you already know. But again, that's all I'll say. Now, do I recommend that you guys go check out Abigail? Absolutely. This film is 100% worth going to see it in theaters. Now, while the story is simple, you're very invested in it. The characters and the actors are great. The acting was very well done. The music was good. And on that note, I really appreciated how they consistently played the theme from Swan Lake that was also featured in the original 1930s Dracula film starring Bela Lugosi. If you're a fan of vampire or Dracula films, this one is definitely for you. I'm going to give Abigail an A. But guys, that's my review for Abigail. Thank you so much for checking it out. I hope that you enjoyed it and found it helpful. And if you saw this film, I want to know what you think. So be sure to post your thoughts down in the comments below and I'll definitely check them out. But guys, thank you again so much. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to hit that like button. And if you're new to my channel and enjoying my content, then be sure to consider to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time.